Hello. Am I audible, sir? Hello. Can we start?
Yeah, I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir. Please share your screen, sir.
Sure. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
And also it is changing. Is it changing also? Is it
Yes, sir.
changing?
Yes, sir.
Fine.
Okay, so hello and a warm welcome to all. Welcome to Research Circle. So today we are gathered here for exclusive webinar, which is titled as Introduction to the Academic Writing. And for this, we have with us our today's expert, Dr. B.U.C.V. He is a professor of Mechanical Engineering Department, Jyoti Engineering College, Thrissur, Kerala. So without wasting much time, let me welcome Dr. Biju CV, sir. Please, you can continue, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for the nice words. Actually, I am extremely happy to be the part of such a research circle where people are interested to know about what are the latest technologies or how we can improve the quality of literature survey, academic writing, technical writing, and how to publish good articles in a short period of time. So that is the objective of this particular presentation. So we will enter into the topic. Actually, our research that is mainly related with a number of activities, and it starts with the topic selection. And most of the time, the scholars, the researchers are confused with the topic selection because most of the topics may be related either the domain of the research guide or the work already done in that research group. But there are certain situations where the scholars may have the freedom to select the topic. So depending upon what the culture or what is the practice that is followed in that institution, the scholars will get the opportunity either to continue the work what is already going through the section, or they can have the freedom to identify something which is attractive or the need of the time. So these two things are depending upon the institution or the guide under which you are doing this. So either you may be forced to work on the same area what is already existing in the institution, or in other cases you may be getting the freedom to work on something totally new what is available in that institution. So in these two cases, you have to start your research in two different dimensions. One is totally different from the other. Then, what is the importance of the literature review? You know that we are not developing anything totally new. So we have to go to the history, what is the present status of that particular research. So to know the current status or what is the work done so far, we have to carry out the literature review. So literature review is the first phase
Sorry to
of any.
interrupt, sir. The slides are not changing.
Now it is changing. Is it changing now?
No, sir.
No.
Yeah, now it's changing.
Okay. Is it changing now? Now I am continuously changing it just to know whether it is changing or not. Is it
No,
changing?
sir. No, sir.
What about now? Is it changing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Now perfect, sir.
yeah.
Thank you.
So, okay. So, in the case of literature survey, we are going through the work done so far or the current status of that particular technology or the development that is what explored in the literature. So, literature review, we can depend on different sources, primary sources, secondary sources, etc. So, starting from the topic selection, we move to the literature review. Then we have to develop the literature framework, how the work is going to start and what are the things to be carried out, how it is going to end, what are the objectives. So the methods what you are following, that should be very specifically mentioned in the literature framework. So literature framework that gives the route map from where you are starting and how it is proceeding or progressing and finally where you will reach. So that is the third stage. And the next step, that is the data collection. Once the experiment setup is ready, once the research framework is over, you have to move to the data collection. So that data collection is again that is based on the primary observation, or it can also be based on the result what is already published by some other authors. So if you are using some published material, then the corresponding reference is included in the uh, list of the data used for the analysis. Then the next part you have to go for the data preparation. Based on the data it is available, you can go to different analysis, you can process it, you can present that one in the required objective. For example, the data may be common, but the same data can be used for different outcomes that can be defined by the research framework or the objective of that particular research. Then finally we will go for the discussion conclusion. So this is the general framework of any research activity. So starting from the topic selection, I already told you that depends upon the uh, nature of the topic you are taking, whether it is the continuation of the work done in the laboratory or it is the new domain. So accordingly, the topic can be fixed. Once the topic is almost fixed, you can go for the literature review. Then you can now make the literature methodology framework, data collection, data preparation, analysis, discussion, conclusion. Now, we know that there are different types of assets, like tangible assets and intangible assets. The um, materials like cash, furniture, plant, machinery, vehicles, computers, all are the tangible things. But there are things which are not tangible or intangible, like copyright, patents, publication. So how that can be protected, that is also an important aspect. So once you go for a publication, you should have in mind that you are going to protect an intangible material. So why this academic research is important? Because it facilitates learning. So once you start research activity, it opens the new doors for learning process, and also it highlights the issues what is existing in that domain, and it provides solutions in multiple track, multiple um, perspective, so that the same problem can be addressed by multiple solutions. And once you have multiple solutions, you can go for the optimization of the solutions, and that may be commercialized in different ways. So the academic research like leads to a personal growth of the students, the researchers, the community, which is the process is carried. So there are different advantages you can see by the implementation of a research activity in the academic institution. So now, according to the National Education Policy 2020, the focus of the research of intensive teaching um, should be included in the universities and autonomous degree for getting the grants. So institutions should go to a next level. Instead of simply teaching, have to carry out research activities to strengthen the teaching learning process. That is the requirement of this NEP 2020. So it is an unavoidable component in any academic institution to provide sufficient research component in their academic activities. Now, we know that different types of intellectual properties are protected in India by like the patents, designs, trademarks. So this is the official website that you can depend for documenting or protecting your intellectual properties. Now, why the research is necessary and valuable in our daily life? It's a tool for building knowledge and facilitating the learning process. It's a means to understand the issues and increase the public awareness. It helps us to succeed, or it helps to succeed in business, and it allows us to disprove lies and support the truth. Many times, uh, blank or the statements may be there without any technical support, but the research that allows to open the reality or the truth behind the statements. And it is a mean to find, gauge, and seize the opportunities. It provides a love of and confidence in reading, writing, analyzing, and sharing valuable information. So the same work need not be repeated if it is shared. So that is the advantage. If something is observed by a person, that is sharing to the community, so that no other person need to go the same track to explore or to experience the same outcome. So whatever is experience that you are sharing here, so that is the advantage. So you are saving the time of other people, or you are making the progress more faster. Then it provides nourishment and exercise of the mind. So if you are carrying out attractive research activities, it improves and it gives you satisfaction, it gives you pleasure, and it is also an exercise for mind to creativity. Now, here you can see that the need of the collaborating research and how the research is planned to satisfy the needs of the future. So in 2017, Soil Island at 18 class started a research activity to provide or to develop a better battery system for electric vehicles. Even though during that time electric vehicles were in the initial stage or in the beginning, they were thinking about how to develop better battery system for a long period travel using the single recharge activity. So here you can see that we have to anticipate the things what is going to happen in future. So there are times people will solve the problems that is existing, and there are situations or the people who will be working on the problems they are uh, anticipating it may occur in future. So either we can solve the problems in the existing time, or we can provide something for the future. The problems may not be existing that time, but later if something is something may happen, then solutions to such type of problems can be provided. So research activity we can divide into two ways. One is solving the existing problem, the other one is anticipating the future demand, future requirement, and developing the solution for it. Now, what is literature review? It's an objective, concise, critical summary of the published literature on a relevant topic, and it is arranged in the proper sequence. So it is you are summarizing the most relevant important aspects of scientific literature related to your area of research. So there will be contradictions. Multiple different people may be presenting different contradictory things. There will be some trends. There will be themes, influencing studies, gaps, etc. So all those things are concentrating to a particular track. So that is advantage of the literature. So to have a beautiful literature review, you have to incorporate all these areas, like the contradictions about that particular topic, the trends, how it is generated, what was the initial stages, developments in that particular topic, and how it proceeded, what are the contributions by different people at different point of time, then what are the influencing studies for that topic, then gaps in that topic. So these are the things that is included in the literature. Now, the benefits of the literature review, you can say that you can have effective discussion with your guide. If you want to meet your guide, you can say something about your topic, but if it is based on certain standard outcomes of the published data, it will give more value to your discussion. Then the research committee, doctoral committee meetings and all, once you present something, you can have a better stand by introducing the background of the data. background of the data means where it is published, what is the authenticity of the content. So instead of simply saying about saying your opinion, you can say that these are the things that is already published, or mm, people like XYZ, they have authored or they have reported certain outcomes, and that can be used as the reference for your research. Then publications can be conferences, journal, books, etc. So that is one area. Once you want to publish something, you need to do the literature survey. If you want to write thesis, it is needed, and in all aspects, the literature survey is an unavoidable part and everlasting recognition. If you publish something years and years after the publication of that material, you will be recognized because of the content in that publication. Then performance of the comparison. If somebody is doing some particular work, it is compared with other authors and based on the publication or the acceptance of that particular publication technical society. Now, what are the importance of literature survey? First of all, it demonstrates your familiarity with the subject. The person who is strong in literature research in a particular domain will be able to tell very authentically about what are the things reported on that particular topic so far. So this is the main advantage of literature survey. That shows based on the literature survey, one person can say that the one who is presenting or the one who is published the material is strong or weak in that particular area, because the important references should be included in the literature survey. So by checking, simply checking who are the people involved or what are the materials that is used for the literature survey, you can have better understanding or better evaluation of the publication. Now, develop a theoretical framework for research. So, whatever research you are going to carry out, a proper theoretical framework or methodology can be developed based on the literature survey. Literature survey that opens multiple doors for the future activities or the research. Then positioning research in relation with the other researchers. There may be a number of people doing research in that particular area, and how you are unique and how your work is different from the others, that is highlighted or that is made clear by the publication. Then it shows how your research addressed the gap. Already we know that there are multiple contributions from different people, but there may be some gap in that publication or the research activities that can be clearly highlighted by the literature survey. So at the end of the literature survey, you can say that these are the things that is already done, and something which is missing, that is the area I included in my literature, my research activity. So where the literature research has to be started, that is obtained by detailed literature survey. The end of the literature survey that gives the starting point of the research. So there are five elements associated in this process. One is the searching process. That means you are just checking what are the things that is already done. So searching, then evaluating. If some domain is selected, then you have to evaluate, then identify, outline, and write. So these five activities are associated with literature review. So starting from searching, evaluating, identifying, outlining, and writing. So then historical background of research. So before I do something, I should know what are the things already reported on that particular topic. So that is the historical background. Then the next step, the current research context, like the quotations, debates, issues, etc. That has to be incorporated. Then relevant theories and terminologies. If somebody is talking about gravitational force, then the word G, that is very repeatedly used, or whenever you use some refractive index, then mu, and whatever terminologies that is associated with that particular topic, you have to give it detail. Then standard terminologies are expected to include in your publications. Then identification of the research and supporting the evidence. So these are the five circles that is included in this. And there are four types of literature review based on the nature. It can be comprehensive or selective. That is one type, whether it is included the everything, that is the comprehensive, or sorry, if only a selective area is identified, then you have the horizontal separation, comprehensive or selective. Similarly, there is a vertical separation, whether it is broader work or it is a standalone work. Then again, there will be two classifications. So altogether, 2 by 2, 4 classifications are possible: comprehensive and broader, and broader and selective, selective and standalone, standalone and comprehensive. I hope it is clear. Once you go for the thesis, that is comprehensive in nature, broader in nature, then journal you go, then you can have very selective and broader. Then assignments are selective and standalone, and review. If you are writing about some um, particular process, then that review, that is comprehensive, should be comprehensive in nature, but at the same time it is standalone. So the four examples to identify the different types of literature review that is included in this particular slide. So the main classification is comprehensive or selective, broader or standalone, and 2 by 2 for options. So your research activity includes literature survey. It is just like a for that you are putting whatever things in the inlet, it is going down. Finally, you are getting the hypothesis. So general to specific, that sorting is carried out in the literature. So introduction, scope, and structure, that is in the beginning. And finally, the hypothesis is derived. So starting from the general views, you are coming to a hypothesis state. So general is specific, that conversion is taken or it is obtained during this. Now, literature review is a non-linear process. Non-linear means that intensity is varying at a different point of time. If it is a linear process, means intensity will be same in period of time. But you can see that at the beginning that literature review may be very aggressive, but later you may go to reduce. So literature review, that depends on, that's a non-linear process. It's a non-linear process. And just go back and check. What is mean by go back and check? Once you start your research, after some 1 or 2 years of time, you may want to know what is the current status in this one. So you have to again look in the literature review. What some people might have published something similar to your work during that 2 years of time. So your work will be a repetition or it may be an updated. So if somebody is published something on an idea, then you have to modify your research. So how that information is obtained is based on the literature. So you have to go back and check. It takes like 4 years of time to complete your PhD program. Even in the third year or even in fourth year, you should be very familiar about the publications that is available in that particular topic. So literature review cannot stop only in at the beginning stage. It has to be continued throughout your research. So depending upon the literature review of the published material, you have to modify it slightly. You have to slightly modify your research activities. That means you have to be very vigilant about the publications that is available on the same topic. Then before, during, and after the formation, 3 stages we have to be careful. Before means before starting the process, and during the research activity it should be there, and after the publication also you should be familiar about what are the developments that is contributed by other people in this area. So it is your responsibility to know what is the current status of that particular problem for the S. Then it gives such a review that gives the background, and it is the part of the introduction program. It gives us general specific process, and moreover it is moreover the hypothesis formulation it helps. Now the sources of literature. What are the different sources of literature? The primary source, you are getting the data directly from the sources. So literature review mostly relies on primary source. The primary source means the research is to conduct the experiment. For example, you are conducting the experiment. For example, you may be conducting the interview, some questionnaire preparation. All those things are comes under the purview of primary sources. Then is the secondary source. The secondary source that depends on quoting the work that is published by someone else. So a secondary source, you should be very careful because the chance of having error is more in the case of secondary source. But in primary source, you are the witness of activities what is conducted related to that particular research. It can be conducting experiment, or it can be the interviews, the questionnaire preparation, data analysis. Now, you can see that sources of literature that includes journals. Whenever we say about literature, people may start with a journal. Sorry, then the corpus proceedings, theses, reports, electronic database, encyclopedia, books, etc. So all those things are the sources of literature. Now, once you go to Google Scholar, you can have the thesis, conference papers, scholar articles, books, etc. So you can easily get these sources, usually free of cost, and in very rare cases you have to pay money for getting this material. And the sources of research I already told you. Now, how you explore the website to get the material. So in Google Scholar, you can just search your name. If you know somebody who's carried out the literature in this area, you search his name, or if you know the title, you search by topic. So these are the two ways, either by the name of the author, or it can be the topic. So once you type something, for example, in this case, a PID boring, if you type, you will get the title. Okay, very easily you will get their title. And Google Scholar is the easy way of getting the published material. And there are three stages of a paper. One, namely, it can be past, the present, and the future. So what is mean by past? Before publishing that paper, something, what are the things that is happened that shows the past, and what is available in that particular paper that is present, and how many people are citing that particular paper that is called the future of that particular paper. So the citations, that is an indication of how many people referred your material. So you can have three stages: the past, the present, and future for a paper. Past means what are the things that is already available in that domain, and it is there in the reference. So if you take a reference, that is the past. If you take the paper, that is the present. And if you are going to the citation, say here you can see some 31 citation, that is the future of that particular paper. So like that, you can say that how many people have how many papers you have included in the reference, that is the past, and how many people are referring your material, citing the material, that is your future. So we can divide a publication into three stages: past, present, and future. Then literature survey, the step one. First of all, the advantage is it should be, the topic should be familiar and interesting. If you are selecting something new, which is not at all familiar and interested, people will not search it. So first of all, the one who is going to carry out the research should be familiar and interested in that topic. The second one is the topic should be relevant and established. It should be relevant and established. So the theory should be very strong for starting that particular research activities. So the governing equation, the science behind that expression, all those things should be very known to the person. The third part is the topic that is the interest of the others. If you are carrying out something which is in which people are not interested, or the majority of the people are not aware, then naturally it won't be accepted in the research community. So a research community will be benefit when you select the topic which is very familiar and interested the other. And the second condition is it should be relevant and established. If something like a gravitational force or the Kepler's law, all those things are the established things, concept. So if somebody is presenting which is totally challenging it, may not get the acceptance. It is very difficult. So the one who is presenting and the one who is hearing may go through these three checklists, whether it is familiar or disinterested, whether it is relevant and established, and the interest of the others. These are the things. Now, importance of literature review in research. First of all, there should be relevancy and coherency in the information. Then identity and scrutiny of the research. Identification is important, and scrutiny of the research. Calculating the impact of the latest information. Your presentation or your material may be good in 2010, but the same thing if you are repeating in 2020, people may not be accepting it because the latest informations are not included. The material which was fit for 2010, the same material cannot produce the same satisfaction for the people in 2020. So last 10 years, what was happened, that should be included in your topics. Okay. Then indicates the current research place and the contradictions between the various thoughts regarding a particular topic. Some people might have presented some idea and the other group might have presented totally different. So that conflicts in the interest, that is also, and provides interpretation of the existing literature. So we have the next slide. Another, I have some lot of slides in this particular area. We'll just go through it one by one to locate the gaps in the literature of your discipline. So why you are carrying out the literature survey to locate the gaps. Then to avoid the reinventing of wheel, whatever is already done, no need to repeat it because it is already established, it is already available in the market. Then to identify other people working in the same. For example, if I am working on machining process, this another person who is good in machining process, working in different countries, these two journals may make them close so that they can have collaborative. So people from different domains can come and work together. So it is easy to identify the people from different domains to a single area. To find the seminal work to your field. So people from the different area doing the same thing can co-work, they can make a good collaboration. Because if I do the literature survey, I can find that, for example, say X and Y, the person X, Y, and a country say A, B is doing something related to a particular area, then the advantage is we can have a good rapport with these people. Then a part of the work can be outsourced, the results can be compared. So that will help a creative, develop a creative environment. Then to acknowledge the opposing views, to put your work in the perspective, to demonstrate you can discover and retrieve previous work. So these are the basic advantages of this particular process. Now here we can have more sources of literature. Here you can see that the primary sources and secondary sources of the scientific papers, databases, handbooks, patents, scholarly books. So these are the different sources. Now, what are the basic common errors in literature review? Or people may, while writing, people may use some emotional phrases. You are not supposed to use any emotional phrases like I feel, something like that. That gives an emotional phrase. So as a person, you are supposed to write the perfect sentences, not the views of the person feel individually. So personal opinions. that is not expected. Then author's first author's first and last name. Okay, that is the writing and the stylistic issues. Then inserting your long URLs, that is not expected. Then, for example, in literature review, suppose a person having three first name, second name, and third name, then normally hmm, it's the first name that is included in the literature part, not the entire name. Literature review structure, no background or the definition of the section, irrelevant content. So these are the two issues that is observed. Then type 3 error, credibility and validity issues. The person who published a paper may have some particular perception, but the one who is referring his paper and highlighting a different perception, that is totally wrong. Then general mistakes are, it is too descriptive in nature, lack of quality of sources, then no link to the research solution, ungrounded statements. So these are the things you may feel that common mistakes in writing. So three different areas I told you: type 1, type 2, and type 3 errors. So we are not supposed to use the personal opinions in the literature review or the paper writing. So conducting the literature review, the person, you should be able to write something in your own words, and that is the material that comes from the literature review conduct outcome. Now, literature review and reference, that are the two sides of a coin. If you are including, say, 6 references, all the 6 references should come in your literature, in your article. So without highlighting the outcomes of the articles in detail in the publication, uh, the references attached, that is useless. So whatever number of the references you are included, you should be matching with the content that is prescribed or that is explained in the article. And the reverse is also important. If you are explaining, say, 20 different articles in the material, then you are supposed to provide 20 different objects, 20 different objectives you in references in your content. So the literature review and references are the two sides of a coin. If something is there on one side, it should be there. It should be there in the other side also. Now, review approaches. It can be conceptual, empirical, exploratory, focused, narrative. I can tell you what is meant by concept. Guided by the understanding of the basic issues rather than the research. You are looking for key factors, concepts of variables, and presumed relationship between them. The goal of the conceptual literature review is to recognize and describe the concepts relevant to your study or topic and outline a relationship between them. So what you are doing, that you are just finding out the relationship between the problem what is existed and what is the solution you are going to provide. Now, goals of the presentation. So these are the common things. Okay, then what are the points to remember? First of all, you should stick to the peer-reviewed sources. Anything in the website cannot be used as a reference, because anything on the website is not peer-reviewed. It is only just uploaded by some person in their URL. So anything that is available in URL or in website is not supposed to include in your literature review, because only the peer-reviewed materials are supposed to consider in the literature. Okay. Then introducing the general topic and positive of the work. You have to explain the general topic, and finally you should come to a conclusion that certain areas are missing or some positives existing, some shortage is existing, some area is not considered properly. So that should be highlighted. The logical study to be conducted in this domain. What are the systematic study that is required? That also you have to include in your review. Develop and maintain logical progression, the funnel. So um, develop and maintain logical progression means you are starting from some particular position at a different point of time. The ideas are filtered out. Finally, it comes to a single entry. the lack of fluency and cohesiveness. A list of facts is not a good writing. Writing should contain proper flow. It should have proper flow. So list of facts like statement one, statement two, statement three, etc. That may be good or that may be perfect in the sentence wise, but once you take it as a complete part, maybe not have that much value in the analysis. Okay. You should be careful about presenting the facts. Number of facts put together will not give you the right answer, right presentation. Always you have to connect the activities one to the next. Like then you not use the emotional words like I felt, it is my pleasure. That those things are not supposed to include in your literature review, okay, review paper. Okay, I think we have to just a second. Okay, so we have to um, go in detail with the literature review. We have to locate, review, and write. We have to find out where the problem is existing. We have to review that problem. We have to write about that problem. So these are the three areas we have to concentrate. So it's an ongoing process. It's a non-linear process, and it is iterative process. It is not all, not all comes to an end at a particular day. So whenever you keep on doing the research activity, this particular process is repeated. So you have to locate that area, you have to review it, then you have to write. So these are the three tasks that is associated. So these three stages we have to go through. One is early, then middle, and late stage. What is early stage? Before carrying out the research, you have to carry out the literature. While you carry out the research, then during that process also you have to do the literature because you don't know what the others are doing when you are carrying out the research. So your result may come into uh, a tangible form or publication after 3 or 4 years time. So during that time, other people will not wait for your outcome. They will also parallelly publish. So once something is already available in the research community, then if you are working on the same topic for another 2 or 3 years, it will be totally. So you should know what are the things that is happening in the research community in that particular area. So the beginning you have to do the literature review, not much that aggressive nature. To some level, you have to carry out the literature review during your research program also. Then comes the late stage. Late stage means even if you publish something, your research is over, you should have a curiosity to know what is the number of citations, what other people are publishing on that particular area. So if you are really interested in that topic, you should maintain curiosity to carry out the literature review even after the publication of your research, getting the degree or whatever it is. So three stages: early stage, middle stage, and final stage. Each stage we have to be very careful about your literature. Now the pivot papers. Pivot papers means what are the unavoidable papers that has to be included in your literature. One is the pioneer. Pioneer means the one who reported that issue the very first. Then the next part is the significant change. Whatever changes, significant change that is contributed to that particular flow, that should be included. Then controversial arguments. If somebody is totally challenging that result, that should also be included because we are not biased. Whatever material is available, we have to process it effectively. Then the latest developments, that should also be included. For example, if you are writing something about a machine learning, first paper published in 1995 may be the base paper. Then after 20 years of time or whatever it is, 30 years, and now somebody is published in that area, that is the latest one. So in between anything happened, that should also be included. So pivot papers means the paper that shows the contribution of the pioneer in that area and the latest development in between the significant improvement in that area. So these are the things we have to be considered as a pivot. Okay. So there are places where people will refer the original material source, or there are situations people may report the cross reference. Cross reference means suppose you get an information that X published something, okay, X got some result, and the result was reported by Y, saying that X got the result. So instead of saying X got the result, the third person may say that Y got the result. So Y got the result through Z, but whenever the next person is trying to get the result, he is ignoring the pioneer in that area. He may be saying that in between person as the cross reference. So primary reference and cross references are very common in literature activities. Then to document your literature is a very tough task because 150 literature references in your thesis that is obtained from 10 times of that one. So if you download 10 paper, maybe one out of the 10 may be used for your reference. That means 150 into 10, 1500, 1500 papers you have to analyze, and the summary of the paper should be there. For that, two different softwares are available, Mandely and EndNote. Mandely and EndNote can be used. So these are the two free softwares you can use for the documentation purpose. So Mandely and X9 that helps you to download that paper, store it properly, write the abstract, and many times different formats are available to write references. For example, numbered, the other type may be say dated. So different formats are available, unnoted. So what you have to do, you can prepare in any one format, and it's simply by changing the format name, you can have a better representation. So this is very easy task. So it is compulsory for any researcher to use any one of the documentation software. So Mandely and EndNote I prefer as a very effective documentation software. So whatever you are downloading, you just save it, write proper abstract, and save it in the proper library. Different number types of libraries, different number of libraries can be formulated. For example, if you are carrying out two different domains, you can have two topics and two libraries, and depending upon the nature of the library you are creating, you can name it properly, and sufficient number of information can be stored in the library, and it can be recovered or reused wherever it is. Okay, how to use EndNote, these are the things. Yeah, here you can see that EndNote can be used, and it can be directly connected to Word. Whenever you type something in Word, you can call or you can insert from the EndNote. So your reference will be automatically generated. Once you write a paper, your uh, reference will be dynamically generated. So it is very easy task, and no need to write the dots and commas in the reference. Simply put the paper in the word place. Suppose you are typing the thesis, you have to include 150 references. So at a different stages, you can simply call that reference from the EndNote. That is sufficient to get an automatic what is called the reference system, and that will avoid the duplication of the names. If you are manually doing, means two times you are introducing something, there will be possibility of two different the repetition of that particular site. So to avoid that one, you can use the standard documentation software. So that is one area. Lot of advantages are there in the present scenario. The softwares are used to check the quality of your. At the same time, what you can do, you can use the power of the software to make your uh, writing more, having more quality. Actually, the reviewers, examiners, and all, they are using the softwares to check your quality, your contribution. So what you can do that, use the similar softwares to improve the quality of your writing. So this is the simple advice to you. And there are situations people may have basic mistakes about how to got two different authors of the identical name and identical year of publication. So two authors you can see. and if they are publishing the same article at a different period of time, like here you can see that Monin et al. 2014, two articles they published. So to refer that one, what you can do, you can provide AB extension to that particular year or name. Okay. So it is very clear that that particular paper is being cited here. So if the references are containing identical name of the authors, the same year of publication, then in the literature review you can add A, B, etc. That will help you. So these are the things. Either you can arrange the literature by the subject, or it can be the chronological order, which year, what are the things happen. As the sequence of year, you can include it by theme, idea, trend, theory, or major research studies. You can include it. So these are the choices you have. If you want to write a beautiful literature review, you have to go through either the subject wise, or the year wise, or the theme or idea, trend, theory, major research. Or it can also be author of the same author. For example, say a particular professor is, say, IIT Kanpur, say Professor V.K. Jain has published so many publications. So you can write the name of the author, then the corresponding developments, contributions. So it is very rarely it happens, but normally people will follow two approaches, either the chronological sequence or the subject sequence. Okay, so systematic approach we have. Okay, so many things we have. So okay, I think we can discuss a lot of things if the time permits, but I want to stop it here. If you have any doubt, if you please unmute and ask, so that whatever I know in this area I can share to you. So thank you for your patient listening. Your interest in the topic. A true researcher should be a true good writer in the technical material documentation side. For the literature survey is very important. So the last 1 hour, that was just an eye-opening, just an introduction, how we can start good literature review, how the quality of the paper can be improved. So these are the things I try to share with you. So want to stop here. Before that, if you have any queries or doubts, please unmute and ask. And I would like to thank the people behind this program to make it reality, to make a platform which is useful for the researchers. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable guidance. I hope all the participants will get the good amount of knowledge through this topic. And at last, I would like to thank all the participants who were live present here and who will watch this on the premiere of our Research Circle YouTube channel. So thank you so much, Dr. Biju CV, sir, for taking out the time. We really appreciate your effort and time. Thank you so much. And I would like to end this session here with your permission.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a good time.
Okay.